Okay, I'm recording now. You're recording. We're all recording. That reminds me of a line from my favorite movie.
Testing.
Well, one of my favorite movies. That thing you do about the drummer in the band.
That thing you do. That's the name of the movie.
That's the name of the movie. It's also the name of the hit song that a band comes up with in this.
Yeah.
And there's a guy who's like, when they get their first, it doesn't matter. I can tell you this offline. Okay. Anyway, we're here to ask each other questions from our audience because this is our 1-year anniversary episode. Welcome to the True North podcast
Oh my god.
that you've been listening to for an entire year.
Oh wow.
We're two practicing light workers who get together every week to continue an ongoing conversation about wholeness and healing for body and mind so that you can live as your true self and follow your true north. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Abby.
And this is only episode 39
Yes.
because we did not do it every week. We took a little break there, and I don't really know why.
Well, we
Like at the beginning of the year. Oh, maybe it's because 2020 started and we had to get our
need
wits
to
about
adjust.
us.
But then we started doing this once a month.
Oh,
And
I
we
guess
would
that's
record
true.
2 hours one time
Yeah,
a month.
yeah,
and then
yeah,
that shifted to
Weekly.
like every other
yeah.
week. It's like,
Okay.
so we've sort of, now we're on track where we just record every week and we put an episode out every
What I'm
week.
hearing you say is that we are making this up as we go.
Yes. Which what I was saying offline is I love that's exactly what we do.
Raw!
Yeah. Okay.
So, for those of you who don't know what we've been promoting for weeks now, our first episode was released November 16th, 2019. And this episode is going to be released November 13th, 2020. The closest we could get to an actual 1-year anniversary episode. And we thought we would do something fun. So we asked everybody in our audience to send us questions to ask each other for an AMA. Which, if you do not read it, that is Ask Me Anything.
Anything.
But they're all blind. Like, we had people email you questions for me. People emailed me questions for you. And we're recording this an hour early today, so I didn't actually aggregate them all into a list like I wanted to. So I'm kind of flying by the seat of my email inbox pants
Awesome. Okay.
right now.
All right then.
So, you want to go first? Because I'm sure
No,
you...
I want to start with you.
You
I
want-
have
you wanna-
amazing questions. Yeah.
Okay, go. Ask me
I'm
a question.
asking you.
These
These are some goodies.
Are
These
they?
are some goodies. Yes.
I'm so nervous. I'm all of a sudden nervous because it is now, and when you have ADHD, there are only 2 times. There's now and not now, and this has been not now for so long, so I haven't thought about it. But now that it's now, I'm all. I'm realizing that I'm gonna have to answer questions that I'm not prepared for. Okay.
That's good. That is the point. That is the point.
That's why we did it this way.
I want your raw self showing up, answering these questions. Okay.
Okay.
Number 1.
Number 1, go.
What is one thing that if people knew this about you, they might think that you were crazy?
Oh, fuck. I have to pick one?
Yes.
Okay, well, there are...
Our
we already-
audience wants one.
we
I have a lot of
know
questions. So
that I talked to my cat thanks to the
Yes.
podcast. We already know that I
Yes.
pee sitting down thanks to the podcast. Oh, but crazy?
well, that's what the listener wrote, but maybe it just like it would be unbelievable to them. Which is
That's
hard
the funny thing because
you,
a lot of things I reveal about myself, there's
Yes.
this filter that's like, they're going to think you're crazy. Like, right now, like, I still have to tell people, like, I have to preface it when I tell people I'm an energy healer because right there, it's like, oh, they're going to think I'm crazy.
You're a little woo-woo.
I've already talked about my 2 mushroom guides. Did I talk about all 4 of my guides in detail? Okay, so the fact that I have some twinkly little fat mushroom guides teaching me the secrets of alchemy in my meditations is already out there. I'm trying to think of a cat that's not out of the bag. Next.
Okay, next.
I will come back to that because
This
I
one's
really...
a little more serious.
Okay.
Have you identified your true north yet? And if so, what does it look like?
Oh my god. Okay, you know what? Here's one thing that will make people think I'm crazy.
Okay.
which this is something that has recently been revealed to our tribe members, but not the world writ large. I have a huge problem with packaging
Candy wrappers.
in which something is wrapped, and that wrapped thing is then put inside another thing that is then also wrapped. I cannot stand the way Starbursts wrap their candies and then take 2 little wrapped candies and then wrap that in a little bag and then put all those in a bag. I got these cool yoga cards. They're Play Pause B. That's their little logo. And they're great. And I kickstarted them and I got them and they're phenomenal. But the problem for me is that the box was shrink wrapped. And then you get the wrapping off, and then you open the box, and inside is a deck of cards.
And it is a contained box.
That is shrink wrapped. There is no need for. Okay, so that's I have very strong feelings about
extra packaging,
double packaging,
unnecessary packaging. Okay,
unnecessary wrapping.
What does it have to
wrappers.
do with identifying your true north?
No, that's just I'm going back to the first question.
Okay,
that's one thing that people found out about me. They think I'm crazy, that I am so fired up about wasteful packaging. Okay. Have I identified my true north? Yes. Yes. What's the second half to that? Because yes.
If so, what does it look like? And I might even add, and if so, are you living it?
Okay. So the broad strokes answer to that is I am really learning that I was put here to heal. To heal myself. And through the things I learn about how to heal myself, to take those and use them to heal other people. As a healer is that is the name of my soul. And that has taken various forms throughout the years, and it will continue to take various forms. And I'm learning all kinds of stuff, and it's all geared towards learning how to be a better healer of myself and of others. There are some visions I have of ways that could be very far-reaching and meaningful to an entire generation of people, but that's dependent on me following the blueprint. There's a lot of free will in there. That could sound self-aggrandizing, but I also think that every single human being on the planet has a soul calling that could be greatly impactful to an entire generation of people if they choose to live it. So that's not unique to me or anybody else. But for me, my personal one is healing. And it's body, mind, soul, holistic, all-encompassing healing. Am I living it? Yes, in that it is on the plate. It is in the mix of the things that I'm doing with my life, but there's a bunch of other things I'm doing with my life that are distractions from that, which I'm learning how to navigate and what to do about.
Which I think we could both agree that that's part of the journey of living your true north. Is there's always road bumps.
I mean, there are also things that also have a place on the plate that are not distractions, but are not directly feeding into it. It's not like I'm trying to get to a place where everything on my life is either healing or feeding the healing. But there are also things that I feel are impeding that. And so that's what I'm calling the distractions, which, it's really easy to look at the fact that I have distractions and then say, no, I'm not living my true north, because I'm comparing it to some perfect ideal where every breath I take is to the end of being the best healer I can, and that's just not
someone else's measuring stick.
Yeah, I am my own measuring stick, and I am right where I'm supposed to be. But I'm pretty solid on that being my true north.
But I like that being a distinction where living in your true north doesn't mean it's this perfect alignment of your true north. Living means that you're just constantly leaning towards it. You're practicing the things, you're working on the challenges that you need to kind of keep moving in that direction. And I think that's the distinction you're making with your distractions.
Right. And true north is a direction.
Yeah.
But you rarely ever move that direction in a straight line.
Yes, right.
That's kind of part of it.
Okay.
What was your favorite...
Wait.
Oh, are you asking all of yours all at once? We're not going to go back and forth?
I was going to do half you, half me.
Okay.
We can go back and forth.
Whatever you want to do. I don't care. Go. Let's
I'm really excited about your questions. I don't want to stop.
I need to look at exactly how long we've been recording so that at the halfway point we can switch to you. You got it?
I got it. Yeah.
Okay, because
I'll be self-aggrandizing and say, now it's about me.
Dude, I'm all about that. Turn up the volume on your Eunice, Abby.
But right now, I want to know, what would you do with a rubber band, a glue stick, and a paper clip?
Okay, so here's what I would do. The glue stick would be... No. I thought about this. The glue stick would be a holster for the paper clip. So I would have to take the paper clip. You know how it's like, so it's like the loop and then the loop that goes around the loop. So I'd unfold the big loop and then make it into a big loop that would wrap around the glue stick. So the little loop is still sticking up. And then I think I have a rubber band. I want to show you this. There's a way you can use, I have to use a hair thing, but you can use your pinky and your hand to make it like a gun,
shooter.
And then it would become the paper clip would be a little target for me to shoot the rubber band. Oh. And if I can knock
make a little target
the paper clip off of the glue stick without hitting the glue stick, then that's 10 points.
Interesting.
If I hit the thing, it's 1 point.
Why is that?
I don't know. How many points should it be? 5?
Just arbitrary numbers you pulled out? Okay.
All
just
scoring
checking.
systems
You
are
sound like you
arbitrary
really
numbers.
thought about this. So just really curious. That would not have been my answer.
Yeah, it would be a target game. I'd make a little target game for my rubber band shooting skills, because one day I am going to be in a situation where I have a rubber band and an assailant who I can get away from if I can peg them in the eye.
Okay.
And so I need to have good aim with my rubber band guns so that I don't die in that situation.
Okay. This is awesome. This is somebody that knows you well. If you could design your own superhero that represents you, who would it be? Like, what's the name, the outfit, and what would your purpose be?
Oh, my God. This is a question I have answered my entire life. There are generations of my childhood that are defined by the superhero that at that moment in time was who I imagined I would be. I had a part of a costume once. This goes back to your first answer. This is what will make people think I am absolutely crazy. Sure, I'll post it. I have not. If I still have it, I have a picture that I took, a selfie in a cowl that I handmade for myself. That's how far I took this. An actual cowl for this.
Okay.
Didn't have a name. But when I was at the height of my Batman fandom, because I used to be a huge. Now I'm a recovering Batman fan, but there was a time I was in it.
Yes.
And like to an unhealthy degree, where I was starting to emulate it in ways that just. I was ignoring the all the good reasons why Batman's not a real thing. So, I was at college, and there was this college campus police report thing that would go out anytime there was an incident. And I noticed that there were a lot of sexual assaults happening in this one spot of the same parking lot on a regular basis. And I was just at a point in my life where I felt a need to go do something about it. And so, but I couldn't just go do something about it. I just stand there and be like, do you need someone to walk you to your car? Like a normal person. I needed a costume and a bow and arrow. And I actually got a membership at this archery place because I was like, if I can get high enough in a dark corner, I can just peg somebody. And they wouldn't even know where it came from. And so and I had this whole costume. I had drawings. I had, like I said, I had made the cowl. I was ready. The superhero person didn't have a name, but it had armor, had tactical gear, had the whole thing planned out, where I was going to get this stuff from. But I was on a budget, so I had to pace out. And I actually, finished school before I assembled the whole thing. But I had a printed off map of the campus with those little pins on every single point where the thing was reported to have happened, and triangulated where I needed to be, and then where I could be on campus to make sure that I had full field of vision and was watching. And I didn't know when I thought I was going to do this. After class, I would go into a bathroom, change into my superhero costume, and then I would still have a backpack with my books and clothes. And I was an art student, so I had studio, sometimes giant portfolios. I don't know where I was going to put all that. And then what were my patrolling hours going to be? The hours didn't happen because then I would be sitting there for 5 hours because that's the window that this all. It was ridiculous. It was very, very not, Anyway, so I don't really have an answer to the question now because I don't really engage with that hypothetical because it's not very far before I go off the deep end.
But how did that superhero represent you, either then or now?
I mean, it definitely is a hallmark of a point in my life where I had a very overdeveloped hero complex.
That's interesting because I see it as that part of your personality that you care about humans. Like, sure, it was taken to the extreme. We can argue that. Sure, whatever. But
Yeah.
you truly value, like, your whole point in doing that was to stop these assaults.
Which were actually really happening.
Which
That's
were
like a
really
real life
happening.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So to me, that speaks a lot to who you are. That you are sort of this, human rights person.
Yeah.
And you say you're not empathetic. That's just
Well, the funny thing is that when you asked me that question now, the first thing that popped up was someone who can do what I can actually do, just with a costume and a superhero name, and with much more proficiency.
I know what your
Just
costume
someone
is.
What's my costume?
All dark clothes.
No! That's John Amaril's costume.
That's yours too, except for today.
Except today I'm wearing white,
black
white
or
and
gray.
green. I do. I wear black or gray. I'm like.
There's your costume.
A British sky. No, it would just be somebody who I actually did picture this person in white flowy roby things, like just a person who just like glides like a ghost.
Yeah.
And then
I
you can
can
just
see
show up
that.
and just like put his hand on you and like boom, there are all your problems. They're gone.
Yes, I could definitely see that.
But it's not that simple. But I mean, superheroes are the hyperbolic expression of our desires for our own abilities. So that makes sense.
Yeah. I love that. I love what you said.
Oh,
Okay.
very smart. I was homeschooled.
Yes, you were. I have a question for you about that. This is my question. This is more between you and me, but I'm going to say it live on the air. Okay. Sometimes I say, okay, you were homeschooled. You know the answer to that. Is that offensive to you? Because I really mean that in a sincere compliment.
No,
like when I say,
I don't take that.
Well, that's
right,
because you're homeschooled. Like I genuinely mean, like I find you incredibly smart, and that's sort of my way of like.
Well, yeah, because I know that about you, and I know that that's the category in your psyche that homeschoolers belong in. I take it as a compliment.
Okay, good.
But even if I didn't, like, even if I thought, like, if you had a different opinion about homeschoolers that was towards the negative, and you would preface an expectation by the fact that I was homeschooled, I imagine that I would take that as more information about you than about me.
Ah, yes. Okay, good.
So, but no, good. I don't take it offense from you.
Whew. Good. Song or artist that you love that you won't admit to people, and they continue. They say, "Come on, you're a Swiftie."
I will 100% admit to loving me some T-Swizzle.
So a song or artist that you won't admit to other people that you love, or if you don't have that, top 3 songs on your all-time playlist.
That I won't admit to people that I love. Well, that like the way that I'm hearing that question is if some stranger got in my car and my song was on shuffle, who would I want to like check my list to make sure that they don't hear?
Yeah.
Who do I not want people to know that I love? As he checks his phone right now. I'm looking at my music. Let's see what I have right here. Nope. I like them. I want everyone to know I like them. Let's see. I don't know. Actually, no. Well, I don't know. That's the thing is like I'm at a point now where like I'm not afraid of people knowing shit about me at all.
This podcast kind of just rules all that out.
It does. Like everyone's like, tell us your secrets. I'm like, they're all out there already. And that's what this whole podcast is. It's me just.
I already did.
I really am looking for something but of course that's the thing, right? Like as soon as I find it, I would go tell the whole entire world. I think I know who asked that question too, and she's going to be really disappointed.
All right, then what's one of your top 3 songs on your all-time playlist? Like the one that will always be in a playlist, always on repeat.
This this is one that I need to make sure I have the title correct. Yeah. Get It Together by the Go Team.
Interesting. I've never heard of it.
This song has no lyrics. It is all instrumental. And it is the one song that I will tell people, if you want to hear what the inside of my brain sounds like, it is this song.
Okay.
If I could play it without worrying about like getting in legal trouble, I would play it on this podcast, because it's like, if you want, I'll put it in the show notes. I'll link it in the show notes. It's on YouTube. Get It Together by the Go Team. It is the song that is almost always stuck in my head.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah, I don't listen to music that I don't want people to know I listen to. Mostly because I just don't care what people think about my music. I mean, that's not true. There are a couple of people I care, but they think I have good taste, so it doesn't matter.
There you go.
I mean, it does, but whatever.
Okay. What is the one thing you hope your kid really wants to do so you can secretly keep doing it without guilt? Like doing it yourself.
Oh, like taking your kid to a kid's movie that you want to see?
Yes.
One thing I want my kid to do so that I can do it with him without guilt. Well, as someone who has played in his room with his toys without him there, I don't know that I need to use him as an excuse to be a kid.
Well, other than you still need the toys.
What? Okay, I'm going to rephrase that. What have I already used him as an excuse to do before?
There you
Paint
go.
my nails.
Okay.
I have... I mean, yeah. So I painted my nails black all of October, just because I wanted to. Mm-hmm. But I found that when I was in a situation or talking to someone that I didn't feel would be completely comfortable with my unbridled expression of self, my caveat that I would say, the story I would tell is, which was all true, was all facts, was that my wife went and got a pedicure. She got her nails black. Brooks saw that. He wanted black nails like mommy, and I wasn't about to let them have all the fun. I think I may have even said that on the podcast.
You have
Because
not.
I repeated that enough times. And so it wasn't enough for me to say like, oh, it was October, and I was feeling kind of punk rock-ish, so I wanted black fingernails. And so I used him as an excuse to paint my nails. The kid wears makeup because mommy wears makeup.
You know, I am so glad to hear
eye
this.
makeup.
My son does the same thing. He wants to wear makeup, wants to paint his toenails, all of it.
Yeah, and
I let him.
We do too. Like, I mean, I
That's a whole nother
his mom is
conversation.
really, really protective of him. But there are ways that we just let him explore expression of self that cross gender normative boundaries. And we're totally free to let him do that. And he does. He just engages with all of it, and it's great. Yep. And he looks super cute in makeup. And I think him doing that gives me permission to do that myself.
So you want him to keep doing that so that you can
I can
use
have
him
an excuse to do
for those
that.
people that aren't comfortable with it?
With me just doing it because it's something that I'm exploring. I've always explored it. I probably always will.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah.
I like it. All right.
Are we at halftime yet? Because I have never been this nervous on our own podcast before.
You want this to end?
I
have a few more questions for you.
Yes, I'm taking this lady cardigan off because it's getting hot in here.
I only have a few minutes. So I want to. What is the one thing you want to do most in this life, but it scares you just a little too much?
Mother Nature. Scares me a little bit too much to do.
Yes.
I have a screenplay in my head. And I want so badly to tell that story. And I don't know that I'll ever be able to. Yeah.
Next.
Oh, is it my turn?
No.
Oh,
I just honoring that space.
That's all I
because
can
it's
say.
heavy.
It
Okay.
is.
All right.
Yeah.
The thing you will avoid doing more than anything in life.
That I'll avoid doing?
Taking out the trash.
Yeah. Oh man, I do hate taking out the trash. More than anything in life. Well, my first thought was anything having to do with glitter.
Oh, that's a good answer. Glitter. That shit gets everywhere.
I can't with glitter. And I feel really weird saying that on the internet because now people know my kryptonite.
So true.
I almost cried at a child's birthday party because they were playing with this glitter thing at the table, and then one of the parents told the kids, "Hey, that guy doesn't like glitter."
Oh,
And
no.
I remember
wrong.
being in a kitchen with like 7 toddlers coming at me with like glitter fingers, and I couldn't. Like, I remember just collapsing into a ball on the floor. Like, and
Yeah.
I was not being all playful about it or like being like over dramatizing it because I knew that's like what people wanted. Like, I was seriously having a very visceral fear response.
Ugh.
And as an adult, to toddlers, with glitter.
Attacking you with
And,
glitter.
and you know, like, I'm really grateful that one of the
worst
adults
nightmare.
was able to recognize what was really going on and like corralled the kids away and gave me time to escape the house and recover and stuff. But like, I have a very deep-seated aversion to glitter.
Okay. Wow. All right. This is the lightning round.
Lightning
and we
round,
may
go.
have to come back to these questions. I do have an idea where there are so many more I want to ask you. So we might do this fun thing where we start putting them on stories where I ask the question and then you do a short
Oh yeah,
our Instagram
like on
stories.
Instagram. Yeah,
yeah,
we can do
yeah.
that.
So we don't, because there's some more that I want to ask you, but I want to make sure that I get to these. These are podcast related.
Yes.
So kind of quick round though, because I think we've got 3 minutes. So, well, we don't have to be exact, but how many
have to be
hours does
exact.
it take for you to deliver a single episode
Of this?
of our podcast? So people like this person, it sounds like is trying to, well, here, this, I'll give you a little, the backstory. So he says, I really wanted to start a vlog or a podcast with a friend a few years back. They said, heck yeah. So I did all the legwork, bought all the lights, mic, structure, planning, blah, blah, blah. They came in, recorded a half-day test. He thought it was funny and fun, but the other person just kind of fizzled out. So he's kind of wanting to know these questions just to see our process. I guess kind of just
Well,
figure
first
out
of
how it would
all,
work
I
for him.
should email that person offline with like a full rundown.
Do you know who
But
it is?
Yes,
Okay.
I think I do.
If not, I'll tell you.
I think I know who would
Yeah.
ask that question. But
Yeah. Okay.
So to answer the question though, it's 1 hour of recording, and then 1 hour, usually like 90 minutes of processing, in which I have the editing software. I play through it all just to make sure that everything sounds good and works right. And then while I'm doing that, I'm writing the show notes. And sometimes that requires me to pause. But then by the time that's done, it's usually like an hour to 90 minutes. And then I have an episode that's being exported in MP3 format, in MP4 format, and the show notes are all done. And then it takes maybe another 15 to 20 minutes to copy those show notes into the new page on our website and the YouTube link and kind of like get everything tied up.
Put it in all
So
its
I'd
places.
say, including recording, about 2 hours.
And that's your end. Mine is literally show up and send you my file.
Yes.
Just
you
what
talk,
I'm so
you
grateful
upload the
for you,
thing,
pretty much.
and then you don't think
And
about
then
it
Ryan
until...
does the magic.
And then the next day, it's all over the
and then
internet.
it's there. It's there.
But it's really, I've
magically
gotten it
appears.
down to only like 2 hours of work, including recording, because I have learned a lot of lessons along the way
Yeah.
about how to streamline it. Like I do it in Premiere so that I'm editing the video, and then the audio recording, the MP3 on the podcast thing is just the audio export from that video.
Awesome. So those
So
are
I'm
all
doing
things
them-
that you could
Yeah,
like,
I could actually just
say,
watch
this is
them
how I
and-
streamlined it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. I'll get with them offline.
Okay.
That was the worst lightning round question and answer ever. That was the whole lightning round.
What is one thing you know now that you'd travel back in time to tell pre-podcast Ryan?
Nothing.
Oh, nice.
He needed to learn all of those the way he learned them.
That's a really good answer. What goals do you and Abby have for the show?
None.
So true.
It is show up here
That is the whole point
and
of this
now
podcast.
do what is in front of us. Execute on our current understanding of our vision for the podcast, and as long as that changes, we will continue to change with it. That's it. That's our goal. We have
go back
no
and
goals.
listen to the first few episodes. You'll definitely see that we don't have a plan.
Right. We have
it changes.
I have
It evolves
a
as we
goal.
go.
Like if I had to pull a goal out of this, it would be to get 100 YouTube subscribers, which we have 4, by the way. So 4 of
Yay.
you people.
Thank
But-
you.
But the only reason I want 100 is because our URL is really long, and you have to hit 100 before you can make your own custom one, and it's just less characters for the show notes, so it's barely even a goal.
Yes. Okay. Last lightning round question. What is in your road trip must-have snack bag? Apparently not wrapped candies.
Well, I love Starbursts.
That's
I just
the
have
problem.
to plan
They're
out
just
time
too-
to unwrap the fucking unwrapping so that they're able to be okay.
Okay,
I'm not
lightning
gonna go
round,
back into it. Damn it. Water.
Water,
Let's see.
check.
It doesn't matter what mood I'm in or what I want to eat. There's always gonna be
You
water.
want water. Okay.
Yeah. That was the last one.
That's it? The only in your road trip must-have snack bag is just water?
Well, then nothing else is a must-have. It changes so much. If I'm eating sugar, if
But
I'm
is
not
there a
eating sugar,
general-
if I'm
It's either going to be candy or it's going to be something crunchy.
If
It's
all
going to
bets
be
are off, regardless of what current diet experiment I'm doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then I
Living your
love
best life.
any type of crunchy, cheesy thing. So that's Chex. No, not Chex. That's Cheez-Its. That's Goldfish. That's Cheetos. It's got to be like salty, crunchy, cheesy.
There you go. Okay.
I will eat all of those. Oh, and fruit snacks and Starbursts. I will eat a whole box of fruit snacks too.
Okay. See? There you go.
That's terrible.
Why?
That's awful. It's just so bad for you. All of those things.
It is a road trip snack
Doritos.
bag.
Doritos. Also, I really like Doritos, but that kind of fits into the first category. Chex Mix. A little bit
All
of
I'm
salt, a
saying
little bit of
is-
chocolate in there. See, now I want to go on a road trip just so I can eat all these
This
things.
revealed a whole lot to me because if we're going on a road trip and all you're taking is water, I'm not going with you.
No, that's the only must-have. It's like whatever I'm doing, and then that's the I want to have, but the water is the must-have to help me flesh
Well-
out all the garbage in the one to have. I feel like I didn't answer the questions you asked. I answered my versions of all the questions that you asked.
That's exactly how this is supposed to go. Let
Good.
it be. Let it be.
All right. Well, I hope all those people are thoroughly satisfied with my non-answers.
But I have so many more. All right, so we'll figure out a way to answer more of these.
Why don't we just? You want to just make this the Ryan episode, and then we can go and record an Abby episode and do a double header.
Do people really want to know that much about?
Well, they sent in questions. You said you have a lot more.
I do. I have fun questions. Let's let's change
You
it
want
up.
to switch? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
Let's talk about me.
let's talk about you and only you.
Oh my
I am
gosh,
often
I've
talking
never
about.
said that.
Oh my God.
Never said that.
How did that feel in your body and your bones to say, "Let's talk about me"?
I cringed. I was like, "Oh, that's gross. No, we
no.
don't talk about you." Figment's like, "No, we don't talk about you.
I was gonna say those are other people's voices, or not
Stay
your own.
safe.
Yep. Nope. This is
Do
not safe anymore.
not."
Hey, I just did it.
about
I
you.
just walked through Kohl's.
You did awesome.
I-
I learned some things.
That's debatable. Okay. Question number 1. What was your favorite backyard Olympic event? Follow up.
Oh.
She'll probably hate me for that.
Did this come from Allison?
I can neither confirm nor deny,
Please-
but I
please
definitely
confirm.
can confirm.
Oh my god. Okay. My childhood best friend is Allison, and she had this amazing swing set in her backyard that had not just the swings, but it had one of those it had rings, free standing like rings, and then it had one of those bars that hung on a chain. And this was back when like the Russians were really good in the Olympics and gymnastics, and they were kind of like our biggest competitor. And so we would spend hours in her backyard playing Olympics. And we would take turns where we'd be the Americans and we'd get like perfect tens. And then we'd be Russians. We would be the Russians and we would try to talk with these Russian accents. And then we would like totally screw up their routines and get really angry because they're quote unquote angry people, like generalizing as from
As
my
kids
kid mind.
understood Russians to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we would fill out all these scorecards, which I still have, by the way.
You have the scorecards?
Stacks of
Of
scorecards
course
from
you
when we were the
do.
Americans and the Russians. So, Allison, my favorite backyard Olympic event, I would have to say, was the bar. Because I could do like the penny drop. I could do like all these really cool tricks, like floating through the air, and I'd push off and then I could penny drop off of it. That was probably my favorite.
And there are
Nobody
no,
has any
like,
idea what we're talking about except her, but I
was
love
gonna say
that question.
I did gymnastics. I don't know what a penny drop is. Are there no like home videos of you doing this, like old scratchy VHS things?
Yeah, the 80s. That would require someone actually getting out one of those old dinosaur cameras you had to put on your shoulder. The thing was so big and heavy.
Yeah, we had one of those.
I don't think either of our families could afford one of those, so we didn't. So no, there are no pictures. Now her mom might have taken a snapshot. I'm gonna have to ask her, because it was always at her house. So I would not have any photos.
I would love to see childhood Abby doing whatever the fuck a penny drop is off
Talk
of a high
about
bar in a
flow.
Russian accent.
Yeah. Yeah, but talk about flow. That's something that I would get lost in for hours, is playing Olympics with Allison.
Oh, and that is a question you ask people when they're trying to circle on their true north.
It pulled me out of so much stuff going on at home. Yeah.
I
That's
have
funny.
more thoughts about that.
That is not, wow. Thank you, Allison. That was fun.
That's a special kind of smile you just gave me.
Yes.
Okay, here's one. It's not about you, but maybe it is. I don't know. Can intuition look like fear or resistance or something else?
No. Intuition or something else, I don't know what the something else would be. Intuition is in no way, shape, or form negative. Even when, like I've given the example before, where when I was in my early 20s and I moved down to Texas, there's a part of Dallas that's real seedy, but that's where all the dance clubs were. And I, not a drinker, but my best friend and I loved to dance, loved to dance. And so she moved with me and we went to the club. You've heard the story, so I'm just paraphrasing really quickly. But anyway, on the way out, for whatever reason, we drove separately. I was walking back to my car, and my intuition, a voice that is not my own because it was a male voice in my head, said to me, "Don't walk this way. You need to turn, walk this way." And I'm like, well, that's longer. Just walk that way. But it felt very safe. But then what I found out later is there was this man that was sexually assaulting women, exactly where I was going to be walking. So intuition in that case, I immediately felt like I got the hairs on the back of my neck started to stand up, okay, something is wrong, but it wasn't, the intuition part wasn't fearful. Now my ego mind went into fear as far as, okay, I could be attacked. What am I going to do if I am? All that. But no, intuition is never fear. It's never.
You've told that story to me so many times, and I've never picked up that it was a male voice.
I don't know that I've really ever said that it's a male.
Well,
but I'm pretty sure it's my guide, William, which I did not know him to be William at the time. But
yeah.
And it was just very calming, don't go down that way. You need to turn right here. And it was just, it gave me this sense of calm. It's I had fear because I felt that physically. I knew there was something, not right. But coming back to that voice, it was incredibly comforting.
So I think it was interesting that they said fear or resistance. Could intuition ever feel like resistance?
No, because if there's resistance, that's your ego mind speaking. Intuition is literally just your highest good speaking to you, whether that's your own soul speaking to you or that's your guide through your intuition, through your soul speaking to you. But if there's resistance to that, then it isn't intuition. You're talking about your ego mind or your lizard that's whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah, and I guess an argument could be made that it would be if it was resistance to something that was unhealthy or harmful to you. But then again, resistance is inherently against and intuition is inherently towards. Is that kind of what you're speaking to?
Yes.
Okay.
I like that
makes
question.
a lot of sense.
That was a good, that needed to be clarified. Thank you.
Yeah. What is the one experience you don't want to miss out on in this lifetime?
Going to France, biking through the French countryside, eating a lot of bread and drinking a lot of wine, and finding French people to stay with along the way. I have this secret love for France that I'm not sure anybody knows. Maybe, but I don't know. There's just something about the way I feel French people live. I feel like they fully, truly live. And every moment is to be kind of celebrated. And I don't know that you'd find that in Paris or some of these other places where it's maybe more tourist type driven. So that's why I want to get out like into France. And all the books I've read, I like to read travel. What is that? Travel narratives, travel stories. I don't know. About people's experiences going places. You know, it's like part story, but also part like this is what you'll find there. Mm-hmm. And so that's it. Sorry, I'm not going to make that any longer. I don't want to miss out biking around France in the countryside.
I was envisioning that happening while you were talking about it.
Okay.
And
all
just right. That's cool. That's loaded with a bunch of stuff for me, actually.
Oh.
Man, we're getting so much stuff we can talk about later.
I know. That's what I'm thinking.
This is just digging stuff up for us. This is really cool. If you could create a Crayola color that represents you, what would it be, and what would it be named?
What would it be named? Probably. I think it already exists. It's called indigo.
Right. That is already a thing. Yeah.
I don't know that I would make it up, although I don't know, because there's something. I've never been a pink person, although that's really funny. I'm wearing pink today.
Right now? Yeah.
Growing up, I had a major aversion to pink, but there's something now as I've gotten closer to spirit and my intuition that magenta, like that deep pink, that does feel blue to me sometimes in a way. And I don't, let's see, what would I call it? But then and it's not, the indigo that I like is not sort of the true indigo. That's more of a, navy-ish color. I think I describe myself more as like this midnight purple kind of color.
Midnight purple. Twilight.
With a little magenta on this side and a little indigo on this side. So
you know what's funny is I have there's a very prominent presence in my life who, when I very first started talking to them about this podcast, I was talking about you. She sees colors. She sees energy in the form of colors, and she actually told me that she sees pink and blue swirling around in a cloud behind me.
There you go.
That's fascinating.
Yes.
What would you name that crayon?
Yeah, what would I name it?
Because I see it being like marbled, like all those are in there, but
right,
they're distinct.
Exactly.
And when you color, it comes out differently.
Exactly. Yes. What would I name that? Let me think about that. I don't know. What would I name?
We can come back to it. Yeah. Oh, so here's something similar to what you asked me. No one is home and will ever know. What snack will you go make for yourself?
So they specifically said, what snack will I make for myself? So in that case, I would make a pan of fudgy, like not fudgy, but chewy brownies. That's the snack I would make for myself. And full confession, nobody's home. I'd probably eat the entire pan.
That is to be expected. I think anybody who's like, no one's home, I'm making brownies. Like that, we all know that story ends with you eating. You're not even going to cut it into pieces. You just grab a fork and eat them out of the pan,
yes,
whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah. If you could choose one thing to learn right now, no limits, what would it be? Guitar, breakdancing, squirrel suit flying?
One thing I could learn right now.
Sounds like a skill you could learn, like something you could learn to do.
I actually
no limits.
Well, that's tricky. No limits, because there's a lot of things I want to learn. Mm-hmm. Is squirrel suit jumping like really a skill you need to learn, or do you just put on the suit and go jump?
Like wingsuit flying?
Yeah, that's because I want to do that.
No.
This person knows me because that's on my list.
I have a friend who does that. I used to do it professionally. Inner city wingsuit flying. So you're going between buildings and stuff.
Yeah, that's too much.
He had a certain number of hours of just jumping out of a plane that he had to do before he could even start to learn how to do wingsuit flying.
All right, then. So that is a skill you have to learn.
is
So yes,
so
I want to learn that
advanced.
one.
Okay.
That is definitely on my list. I know how to rock climb. I am a climber, but I would like to do more technical climbing. That would be a skill I'd want to learn right now. I also want to learn French. To speak French because I'm going to need it in the countryside. When I ask, can I, sleep out in your barn tonight?
Yeah, see, I have dreams of going to Japan, but I would just spend the entire time laughing about how I can't understand the locals. Like, I'm not interested in learning Japanese. I just want to go.
I want to learn French as well as go. I think I was born in France in another lifetime.
Sure
Let's see. There are a lot of skills.
Okay, well, you have to choose one.
Jeez, I would say I would pick the technical climbing.
Technical climbing.
There are some mountains. There are some things I want to see that cannot be seen by foot.
Okay.
Hanging off a cliff.
I love this life that you're creating for future you.
Me too. She's
gonna
awesome.
Have a lot of fun. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. You're awesome. She's awesome. It's just not that big of a leap, actually. You just move it all to France in the mountains, and then you're there.
Perfect. Burn it up and move to France. Is that what you're saying?
It's not what I'm not saying, so take that for what it is. There's an emergency. You're it. Which are you more likely to step up for? Poop, vomit, blood, or broken bones? Which one will you pretend you're asleep for or run away from?
None.
You will not step up to any of them?
No.
You will not run from any of them?
I will not run from any of them. If it's me, I have this deep... This is one thing that I've always known about myself that I didn't really realize it was a strength until later in my life, but I am that... I will say this. I am that person you want in an emergency. Because
true.
It's like all of a sudden my heart rate drops. I get real low. Like I'm able to stay incredibly calm, and I get this laser light focus on sort of navigating what needs to happen next. And so in that moment, when you're in that and it's just like the person needs help the person, I don't really care what it is.
No,
like
you
it
don't.
could be vomit, poop,
I have a story.
whatever, broken bones. You have a story?
I have a story about you. When you were doing the training on how to be a summer camp counselor, there was a whole section on dealing with the emergencies. Okay. And I remember, because of the specific people that we were in this training with and their various temperaments and the way they respond to certain things, there was a lot of talk and ruckus about how even keel you seemed about everything. Like, you were just talking about things like they were just normal everyday occurrences. And I remember more people focusing on that than what you were actually saying. Like, you're even talking about some type of venomous animal that if you discover, like if you get bit by a snake or whatever this thing is on a hiking trail, you were like, okay, so if this happens, don't worry, you're probably not going to die. You'll probably just become violently ill. And you were just saying it so like just matter of fact, like calm down. All you're going to do is run a high fever, vomit, and feel like you're going to die, but you're not going to die.
Yes.
And when you said that,
Oh my gosh.
like it was an everyday thing. I remember people like falling out of their seats with just how unfazable you were with things. Yeah. That's yes.
That's hysterical.
Let's see. No, you already answered that one. A lot of these are the same questions. People just want to know what guilty pleasures you have and what type of emergency response you have going on.
I will show up for you, so just take me along. I will.
You were the person who's like, all they're doing is dying. It's not that big of a deal. Let's just save them. It's like,
it's just a snake bite.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter that it's a copperhead. Come on, we got this.
Most embarrassing but funny childhood memory you can laugh about now.
Well, it happens to be one of my camp nicknames, which it came from not the camp that you were at with me. It came from the town North Y. My camp nickname was Toilet Paper, or TP. So in high school, I still am, but I was then an athlete. And on game days, you were required to dress up. That was just what you did. I am not a skirt person. I'm not a dress person, maybe more so in my older life, but especially not then. And my mother had gotten me this skirt for Christmas, which I despised. It was like this pleated number that reminded me of a cheerleader. And I had a guilt complex though. Like, we don't have a lot of money. She bought me this skirt. I need to wear it. So it was a game day, and I wore this skirt with some tights underneath. And our high school was basically 2 really long hallways, like an upstairs long hallway and a downstairs long hallway. That's it. And so I had English class on the other end of the building, but I was on the other end prior to that, and I had to go to the bathroom. So I go to the bathroom, and you're in between classes. So there's like the bell's quick. You don't want to be tardy. So I pulled up my tights and apparently happened to catch the toilet paper roll in the tights as I was pulling them up. So the skirt kind of got tucked in the back of the tights. Some toilet paper got tucked, like from the roll, got pulled off and tucked into the back of my tights. And I like quickly get out, wash my hands, and I'm like running down the hall. And everyone's like, hey, nice skirt, like laughing. And I'm like, oh, see, this is why I don't wear skirts. And everybody has to comment on it.
Every time I wear a skirt, there's toilet paper hanging off of it, and I get made fun of.
So I'm like, oh, geez, would you stop? But all the way, people are like laughing. They're like, it's nice skirt.
And no one was actually helping you.
Nobody said a single thing, right? Because this is high school. So I get to the other end, and my English teacher's like, honey, come here. So she goes, just turn your back towards me. And she pulls my skirt out and then pulls out the toilet paper. I was mortified. Right. Mortified. Not only because I'm wearing a skirt, but it's like, how do you not know that your skirt's tucked in the back of your tights?
But still, I mean, you were so focused on everything else, and everybody else was being a complete douchebag to you. It's completely
totally embarrassing.
So how did that become your camp name?
Because we were telling stories about ourselves that nobody knows, or embarrassing stories. It was like we tried to, the way they did it at that particular camp is it was based off of one of your stories and not something about you.
Right.
Necessarily. So they called me toilet paper that summer.
That makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm. That would be most embarrassing.
Man, I had like a thing to say in response to that, and then ADHD happened, and then all of everything just went away. Oh, no, I was going to say that's why I just choose not to participate in the phenomenon of embarrassment.
Well, yeah, anymore, I'd be like, that's funny. Like, I would laugh now at myself, because I just wouldn't care if you have a problem with me.
I would turn into the costume and be like, what? This is all part of it, man. Where's
like,
your toilet paper?
Doesn't this
You're
look
all
good?
crazy.
I would do some twerking. I don't know. I would not give a shit.
Okay, so if you had to have a home video of you backyard Olympics penny dropping with an angry Russian accent, or you twerking in a skirt with toilet paper, if which one would you go with to put on our YouTube page?
But both of those would be hysterical. I would probably say the Russian accent gymnast.
Oh my God.
Oh.
I really hope, like people who have NDEs, they come back and some of them talk about how their whole life like was literally replayed before their eyes, like a play on a stage or something. I really, really hope that happens when we die. Like that's actually a real thing, because I really want to watch with all like the hindsight that comes with like with retrospective viewing. I want to like watch my whole life so that I can just enjoy it.
I know. And I want to say like, oh, wasn't that awesome?
Yes. I want to have I've come to my end of my life perspective while watching everything else that it took to get there.
Exactly.
Okay, how are we doing on time? Because I am not keeping time at all.
We have 7 minutes.
Okay, you are a spirit guide. What do you look like? What's your spirit guide name? And what type of person are you guiding?
Holy crap. What kind of question is this?
That's your lightning round, all of it. That's just the one.
I am a woman.
Spirit guide, yes.
I am a woman. I have I look, this is so interesting cuz
first thing that comes to mind.
This is very revealing. This is very revealing. I've seen this before.
Really?
I've seen myself as this before.
Oh, shit.
I did not think about what I would be. I've just seen myself as this. I am a woman. I look somewhat similar as I do now, but I have brown hair, but it's really long and flowing. But I have more Native American facial features, characteristics. I am in some type of dress, but it's made of a natural material. I'm trying to pull her up. And it's free flowing. Like, it's not tight. It's just sort of like, it's like that ethereal moving thing that you were talking about earlier, where you just sort of float. Like, I float, but I'm wearing a ton of turquoise jewelry. Like, I have this turquoise headpiece that sort of like fits on my forehead, and I have turquoise rings all over, and I have these big chunky bracelets. And there's a lot of turquoise going on. And who would I be guiding? I think I'd be guiding that woman that has lost herself and is searching for herself. Like, she knows it's there, she feels it's there, but feels lost. The end.
Well, my first response, this is crazy. My first response internally was that that's already who you are, and that's already what you're doing. And then, while I was having that thought, just now at this moment, I thought of a person that I know you to be guiding in that way, who is exactly the person that you're describing. And then when I had that thought, I literally just like seconds ago got a ping on my computer that I got a message from that person.
No way.
And the message contains a link to a video involving raccoons, which just happened to be my power animal.
Yes.
What the fuck, universe? I can't handle what just happened, man.
See, this is interesting because it's why I resonate with the bear so much, because the bear is the spirit animal. It has one foot in the spirit world and one foot in the human world. And I feel like that's me so many times.
Yes.
And so maybe to some degree I am, well, and I call myself a guide. I call myself a field guide for life. Like, I'm that person that, interesting. Very interesting.
I wouldn't actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I wouldn't say that person's lost, but I would say that person is on a journey to find their way back home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yes.
I want to end there, but we also didn't do gratitudes.
No, not yet.
We should do the gratitudes.
Yeah, we do. We've got time. We do.
Okay,
we started a little bit
for?
late, and my timer's only at an hour. We started like 5 minutes late. What am I grateful for? Well, I am grateful to you, and that comes really loaded. Like, it's multifaceted. What my gratitude for you is because I just, like, you really showed up and heard what I said about wanting to use my voice and kind of connect with that part of me. And then you saw something in you that you had that skill or that talent. And then you also saw the chemistry between us that, like, we could really do this all together. And so in a way, I'm grateful that you showed up for me in many ways when you said, let's do this. But then I also, so like, there's the piece of just the reason why we're doing this in the first place, is because you showed up for me. And that, I carry that with me. Like, every time we show up and have a conversation, is you're still showing up for me. And I really value your friendship. And so, a year in and now I'm crying, seriously. Oh, Lordy. But then there's also, I just have this I have a lot of appreciation for you, because you do a lot of the back work to this show to just, I'm not kidding, people. Like, I show up and record for an hour, and then I send my link to Ryan, and it magically appears on the internet the next day in this beautiful version. And that is you. And, I I'm grateful that you have the skills to do that. I'm grateful that you're willing to take on that work. And I notice and I appreciate that that's what you do to make this happen for us. And I really value that. So, I love you, friend. And I'm truly grateful. So thank you.
Well, goddamn it, Abby.
What are you grateful for? Let's shift. Wipe the tear. Here we go.
I'm in my ego right now because there's a part of me that's like, you're never going to top that, Ryan. Just don't try.
Oh my gosh.
It's not about topping it.
It's not about topping.
Yeah,
it isn't.
Yep. I'm trying to flick my
I was moved to say that
right now.
Yeah. Here, let me flick him.
Thank you. I needed that. Well, so I'm struggling right now because you hit on a lot of the things I was going to say. And I had to fight the urge to roll my eyes when you were like, I'm grateful for you. Because like, oh, here we go.
I know. It's cliche, but it's real.
I mean, part of it for me that I'm specifically my gratitude it's that I feel like doing this podcast with you has been incredibly selfish on my part because of how much I've gotten out of it. I think we meet and we talk for an hour, and then for the next week until we talk again, I am processing, chewing on, digesting all of the things that you bring to it. Like we had a review, our most recent review on our podcast mentioned that every episode leaves them with a nugget that they can just like chew on, right? Mm-hmm. And that's consistently what you've dropped for me, where we talk and then that 1 hour's worth of stuff is being unpacked and unfolded, and I watch it kind of like blossom throughout the next week. And it really has shaped me in a real way. Every week. Every fucking week. So I'm just grateful for that. I love you too, friend.
Yeah. Good.
Did you hear that? I feel like that's what a hug sounds like over Zoom.
Yeah, maybe so. But that's I'm here with you now breath.
Yeah. Well, that was our 1 year episode, folks.
Yay!
Thanks for sending in your questions. There are a lot more that we didn't get to that I'm sure we'll get to in future episodes because some of them are just too good. Mm-hmm. I mean, we could write whole episodes around some of these things, so I definitely want to save them.
Yes.
But until next time, and for the whole next year, thank you for loving me. Thank you for being there.
Bye. We are grateful for you. Thank you for listening. And if you like what we're doing and you want more, then you can join our tribe to interact with other like-minded individuals. You can go through our Patreon page, which is patreon.com/True North Podcast 11.
Is it Podcast 11 or is it True North 11?
Oh, shit.
It's in our show notes. If you want more than that, you want some more hands-on healing stuff that we do, I do actual energy healing and body work, and Abby does life coaching and workshops. You can find the URLs in our show notes when we figure out what they are.
Mm-hmm. And we are always trying to increase our reach and bring more people to find their true north. So we would really appreciate it if you could leave a review and rate it in whatever podcast platform you use.
Done. That's perfect. That was
What about
perfect.
the gratitude?
This one. Hang on. And one last thing. What are you grateful for? There. I said it. I said the thing.